Right, let's get to Celtic now, where an extraordinary AGM between fans and the club board has disintegrated into chaos. Well, we can hear now from Gordon Duncan, who was in that meeting.
Yes, that was incredibly dramatic inside the room here at Celtic Park. Right from the off, it lasted a sum total of 4 minutes before the first set of disruption was too much for Chairman Peter Lawwell. He adjourned the meeting for 30 minutes, and then when they came back, it lasted another 24 minutes before again it was tipped over the edge in the eyes of the board. The major shareholder, Dermot Desmond, not in attendance, as tends to be his way, but his son Ross issued a truly incredible statement accusing elements of the fan base of bullying and vilifying and dehumanising the board. He acknowledged he was putting a target on his back with these words, but truly doubling down. And if you thought Dermot Desmond's statement the night that Brendan Rodgers left was dramatic, well, this was every bit as dramatic here today. So let's check in with one of these shareholders who was in the room, Tino Callahan, also from the Celtic Exchange podcast. How would you sum that up?
Where to start, but the big headline will be Ross Desmond's words. They were almost like his father's statement of a number of weeks ago in verbal format, and it was so strong and it was so inflammatory, and I wonder if actually it took everyone in the room by surprise, and I mean the top table included. It was just so jarring, and there was little chance of the meeting going ahead after that.
Yeah, so to paint the picture further for people, that statement got more and more accusatory towards the fan base or elements of it. The boos got louder and the meeting simply couldn't continue. What do you make of that? What was your thoughts coming into this today? What were you hoping to achieve? Because clearly no one got anything out of it.
Yeah, do you know, some will view that potentially as a win. Potentially that was always a plan, to disrupt and maybe for the meeting not to go ahead. Some other fans will say it's a lost opportunity because there was so many questions that people would have been keen to address at the open Q&A, which was always planned as part of the meeting, and obviously that never went ahead. So is it a win? I really don't know. And in the bigger picture, Gordon, I just don't know where Celtic and the fans go from here. This gap is getting wider and any chance of reconciliation looks a million miles away.
For many of our viewers in Sky Sports News, they'll still be in that place of wondering what is all the fuss about a club that's won 13 of the last 14 titles and only in February pushed Bayern Munich very close in the Champions League. So how has it got to this point?
It's the big question. It's just been an escalation of so many things. What, from the outside looking in, maybe seems like a poor transfer window or an exit to Kairat Almaty. It's just descended into chaos, and it just seems that, you know, just the club and fans are just banging heads together at every opportunity. There's ongoing issues with a fan incident, you know, at the Falkirk game, and I don't know the full detail of that, but there's statements and, you know, follow-up statements and statements from different bodies. There's just so much going on at this moment in time. And then today is just the latest episode of chaos at Celtic. And as I say, I just don't know where it goes.
Let's speculate a bit or try and imagine where it goes, because you've got the major shareholder's son, who's here on his behalf, accusing elements of the fan base of bullying the board, dehumanising the board, vilifying the board. They clearly, the Desmonds as a collective, are not backing down or going anywhere based on what we saw there. So what progresses from this point?
I mean, even just the nature of that. So Dermot Desmond doesn't attend as his way and has always been, generally speaking. So Ross attends on his behalf. So it's not even a majority shareholder speaking. It's the dominant shareholder's son speaking. That in itself maybe leans into the dysfunctional nature of how Celtic run at this moment in time. But as I say, I think his words have potentially caught the whole room off guard, and it's certainly not a way to unite the fans and bring folk closer at all.
Thank you very much to Tino. We'll let him go because it's been a dramatic day here at Celtic Park. I know that some clubs across Britain, probably the AGM passes every year without fuss and people don't notice. It doesn't tend to be the way in Glasgow, and particularly today. Absolutely incredible scenes. It only lasted 24 minutes after an earlier adjournment, and it was over before the Q&A could even begin. So dramatic stuff. We will head back inside and speak to Martin O'Neill. I wonder what he made of it all. And we're building up, of course, to the game away to St Mirren, which is live on Sky Sports tomorrow.
Well, we have now received a statement from Celtic in response to what went on a little earlier. This is what they've had to say. Regrettably, due to the continuing disruptive conduct of a small number of individuals preventing the orderly management of today's AGM, we were required to conclude the meeting earlier than we had planned. Such conduct is completely unacceptable and hugely disappointing. And while today's events are completely out with our control, clearly we regret the impact on our shareholders who were deprived of the opportunity opportunity to take part in an orderly and constructive meeting. They go on to say that Chairman Peter Lawwell called a poll on the resolutions at the end of the meeting, the results of which will be made available once counted and verified. They finished just by saying, should any shareholders wish to raise a question, they can do so by contacting our Investor Relations Department, and they will endeavour to respond to any queries. So there we go, an official statement from Celtic after the goings-on at today's extraordinary annual general meeting.